What's up, my brothers? Regarding situationships, I just had a brutal one brought to my attention. I want to explain what situationships are, why you want to avoid them, and what kind of relationships you want to indulge in. So let me just read this post to you, which will give you some context, and then we'll hit the road. He is a 23-year-old male dating a 23-year-old female for a year. She cheated a few months into the relationship by downloading a dating app and going on dates with two different guys. I chose to forgive her because she seemed genuinely sorry and told me it wouldn't happen again. Fast forward a few months later, I caught her re-downloading a dating app, and this time she said it was because she didn't feel the spark anymore. And she added on by saying that she wanted to see if this was a spark and if it was present or not when talking to other guys, so that she can identify if our texts are becoming drier. I initially wanted to break up, but she came up with the suggestion of a situationship, where we would be allowed to talk to other people, and if we still think we're more suited for each other, we can patch things up. Otherwise, it's essentially a break. I knew I wouldn't be talking to anyone new, and honestly, I don't know why I agreed to that, but it's been done, and what's done is done. So yesterday she told me she was going to a club alone because she never experienced it before and wanted to know what it's like. We were just texting as casual and as usual, and suddenly she went away from keyboard, and the chat around 1:15 a.m. I sent a follow-up question around 2:45, and she told me she was on her way home. I called her at 3 a.m. and she told me she was home, but before she hung up, I heard a guy's voice in the background. I immediately called her, and she suddenly said she was close to home. Story changes now, huh? And that he was driving her back along with his friends before hanging up. I tried calling her back again, but she didn't want to pick up until she updated me today this morning. She said when I called her at 3 a.m., the guy just reached the main entrance of her condo and she was about to leave his car, and that's why I still heard his voice. Now I know what you're thinking. I agreed to this break where we were allowed to meet new people, but I just felt sick to the stomach that she was potentially having sex with that dude and giving me a bunch of excuses. I sent her a text afterwards telling her that I don't think I can trust her words anymore, and even though I agreed to this break, I just don't wish to continue living like this anymore, so I ended off by saying I genuinely loved her, but I don't think things would ever work out between us. Now I'm thinking if I was wrong for ending things so abruptly without letting her explain instead of meeting her in person and talking things out. Please advise. The title of this, by the way, is I blocked my girlfriend without letting her explain, and now I feel bad. Okay, let's start up the beast and get on the road. By the way, guys, the Stage 2 tuned RS5 is currently for sale. I'll put the ad in the description below in case you're interested, and in the Toronto area. Right, so situationships. We've had a bunch of gals on the Ladies Night podcast that I do with Moth pop in and want to talk about what's going on in their life, and quite a few of them, surprisingly, are in this situationship type of dynamic, and it's absurd, if I'm being honest. What it does is exactly what this gal was doing to this poor fella, is it lets her keep him on the hook, or keep him interested with some hope, but at the end of the day, he's more or less an option to her, not a priority. Let me explain. There's three distinct types of levels of interest a woman can have in a guy. The first is genuine burning desire. They're essentially a promoter. They are the kind of person that'll be like wanting to introduce you to their family. Hey, this is Rich, the handsome bald man that I talked about that has a phenomenal blibbity blah, right? That would be a promoter. That would be somebody that's got genuine burning desire for me, and she'd want to introduce me to people like that. Indifference would be something along the lines of, I can't believe this guy double texted me, I'll get back to him later, or maybe I'll see him this weekend when she's hanging out with her girlfriends. A detractor, which is the third level, which has no interest whatsoever, is essentially, this guy's texting me again, he's sending me heart emojis every morning. She's basically complaining about the guy. She just doesn't have any interest in him, and she's not going to see him, and maybe a block or ignore will be more appropriate from her perspective. So here's the thing, guys. You only want to give women your attention, time, and resources if they express genuine burning desire for you. I talk about this in my book. It's very, very clear what it looks like. You know it when you get it because it's like taking a frying pan to the forehead. It's not confusing. It doesn't require clarity. You know what it is when you have it because she's enthusiastic about you. She doesn't want a situationship, and she sure as hell is not going out to nightclubs by herself, which I don't believe. I think she lied to this guy and probably had something set up with some other people or guys and went out with them, and she wanted to entertain what that evening was like. I don't operate generally on certainties, but on a balance of probabilities, I think a very strong probability, she probably porked that guy that night and she made up a story to her situationship. This guy doesn't have any other options. Because he doesn't have any other options available to him, he doesn't seem that attractive to her. Remember, women want to be with a guy that other women want to be with and other men want to be. He doesn't appear to be that guy. He doesn't appear to be a top shelf individual that's captivated her attention, because if he was, she wouldn't want a situationship. You see, when a woman has genuine burning desire for you, she wants to lock you down. Other guys become potentially invisible, or generally invisible to her. She's not wanting to go out to nightclubs, especially by herself, whatever that story was all about. She's not going to be downloading dating apps and going out with guys and entertaining options, because she can't afford to lose you. Again, when a woman has genuine burning desire, it is extremely obvious. It is not questionable. It is something that you know. It is a very good experience for men. They enjoy it. These women are generally a compliment to these men's lives, not the focus. They don't cause drama. They don't go out and party. They don't go away for girls' weekends. They don't post provocative, sexy photos on social media, soliciting the attention of other guys. They're fully committed to you. They want to spend time with you. They ask about what a future looks like with you. You see what I'm saying here? Don't get yourself into a situationship. Don't allow a woman to go out and entertain options, because if that's what she wants, send her off and just say, fine, have fun. I'm not interested in that, right? Now, did this guy overreact by blocking her and double, triple texting and calling her in the evening? I mean, he came off as a plugged-in beta. He came off as somebody lacking options. He came off as somebody more or less desperate. The ending note of, you know, I love you and I really cared about you and I wish this would have worked out, or whatever it was that he said, it just reeks of desperation, and women don't want that. You know, they want to be the adorer at the end of the day, if we're being honest, meaning they want to adore you in a long-term relationship. That's the only reason why she was entertaining other options. That's the only why she promoted or proposed the idea of being in a situationship, because it allowed her to string him along in case a better option didn't show up. And if a better option did show up, she could tell him to get lost in pound sand and break his heart. Either way, his heart's broken. At least now he knows where he's at. I hope he has a clarity that he's looking for. I hope you guys watching understand the difference between a woman that's a promoter for you, indifferent towards you, or a detractor about you, like I explained earlier on. In the comments below, I'm sure some of you may have seen something like this in your own life, may have dealt with it in a similar sort of way. Let us know. Comment below and share your experience. It's always good for the community to sort of check that out and have some conversations. And pinned in the top comment, if you guys are interested in learning a lot more detail, there's over 30 hours of classroom lecture, a discussion, weekly Zoom calls on my new school platform. It's called the School of Unplugging. I'll pin that below. There's an explainer video that you can check out and start there. It's a monthly subscription, and we're continuing to build the best and biggest, most useful library for men that will ever be assembled. Check it out. Peace.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna